Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Thursday morning trading session. One moment as I open up the screen sharing. So yesterday we were waiting on the FOMC minutes, and there was a big rally going into the report. And then the market went a little bit sideways. The report came out, and then prices started to tumble a little bit. So a fairly active session. The market falling off during the overnight, which leaves us with a little bit of a opening gap, I guess a fairly substantial opening gap above the market here. This, of course, the NASDAQ that I'm looking at. I've also got crude oil and the E-mini open on my other monitor, but if I haven't mentioned it for a while, if there's a market you would like to see, please don't hesitate to ask. Or certainly if you have questions, feel free to ask. So we're getting a little bit of a bullish uptick out of the first few minutes here of trading. You Raptor traders had a nice little counter trend signal develop here just a few minutes before the market opened. And it looks like it is just shy of its profit objective, which would have been the hard edge. But could be coming back here with yet another sell signal. We'll stay with them here for a minute and let the dust settle a little bit. It'll be interesting to see whether they try to get into that gap this morning. Here your hawk has produced a first micro-macro cross higher. The Falcon working on a trend change signal higher. And here on your Raptor, you're getting a very early soft edge buy signal. Or no, pardon me, that's still the counter trend signal. Another soft edge buy signal. Let's see, what's that going to cost me to be wrong? Will they try to get into that gap? So this soft edge buy signal not printing, but we do have a market that is overall very bearish, and yet we are struggling, or seem to be struggling, to get lower. And now we came back with a hard edge bounce. And here comes another soft edge buy, this one giving us a slightly better entry. All right, so we'll cancel all that. Okay, as you can tell, I'm maybe a little bit keener on the buy side. I mentioned this the other day, but very often if there's a overnight trend, the market will try to reverse on that trend first thing. There we go. There's another buy. Oh, they slipped me too. So I'm actually going to try to run this one out a little bit. And if we can get above the hard edge here, we may have some room to move. So what do we think? Is it safe to go to break even? Come on, get going. Don't, oh, I guess not. Not quite safe to go to break even yet. Well, it may be just as well I got the break even tap out. All right, they're going to try it again, I think. Making yet another swing here. I don't know. Maybe I should just kind of cool my jets here for a moment. Yeah, we got a red bar buy. A green bar sell here on the Eagle, so definitely some conflicting information, no doubt about that. All right, here they go again. A second push entry might be prudent. And all I mean by a second push entry is we allow the signal to engage, and then we try to get it on the next push up. To get that extra push of momentum. Actually, had I left my profit target in, it looks like I would have reached my profit objective. I'm going to roll my break even up, and I'm going to try to run this one again. It's a problem when the market is stuck sideways. Of course, it can just as easily break lower as it can break higher. And the longer it takes to rally, the more likely it will be that the market will try to break lower. Okay, we're printing a couple hard edge bounce signals here as well. They're not labeling because our cloud is a little bit messed up, but they are hard edge bounces. Again, just telling us how balanced the market is. We got a lot of yellow bars cropping up. If I look at the hawk, you're going to see even more plainly the sideways nature of the market. Flinching back at the high of the day. What were we saying yesterday? 59.10, 59.12 through that region. A little bit of a trouble spot. Oh, and look at that's where the median line sits. 59.12 and 3/4 to be precise. Would make a nice profit objective. All right, so trades back at break even, and let's see if I have a little better success this time. And I'm going to get my bar high low ready. I'm going to get my parabolics ready. Just looking for a more aggressive stop strategy if the market continues higher. So what they're going to try now is, because our clouds are crossing over, they're going to try to give us a number one signal. Now with the number one signal, the cloud crossover signal, the clouds need to cross, but there also needs to be a pullback against the new direction. In this case, the pullback will come down because the new direction is up. I'm hoping the market goes a little bit further before I get that pullback. Come on, get up there. Here, we'll give you a little push with the mouse. Just get going higher. Oh, wrong way. Come on. Up. There you go. Uh-oh. Is it opposite day today? What's going on? So if we can ride out this swing, I'm fairly certain we'll at least get to the 59.12, 59.13 area. After that, where's the next line? 59.25. That would be ambitious. First things first. Once again, had I taken my profit on target, I would have hit my high probability profit objective. Same thing with this earlier trade. So, you know, a lot of times you will be better off just taking your profit when you have it versus trying to run the market out. Yeah, there you go. You're going to spank me at break even again, aren't you? There. Give you to the low of that bar. That's it. That's all you get. Well, there you go. Got tagged again. Just making a note here in my trading journal, would have been better off all in, all out. That's what I get for trying to be cute with the market. Yeah, trade forecaster saying we are in swing mode, so that accounts for the lack of follow through on some of these things. And here we come back with a early cloud crossover signal, and we're going to get a late filter entry signal here on the Falcon. The hawk is spoiled by the yellow bars, but so far we're still getting some bullishness in the market. Steve says, thanks for adjusting your charts yesterday. You're welcome. I know sometimes it's hard to read somebody else's monitor, so it's, you know, I count on you guys and girls to let me know if something's not displaying correctly, because of course I can't see it from your monitor. Steve also makes a comment, August has been one of the better Augusts in recent years. There has been a fair amount of volatility this summer, that's for sure. Okay, so the Falcon working this late filter entry signal. We'll get on top of that and then I'll explain it. That's a little rich. Do I want to go into contracts? Let's not to start. Still early. There we go. So what I'm doing is I'm anticipating where this signal is going to print. With the late filter entry signal, the filter goes out of sync, comes back into sync. The trend line itself never changes color, and we're going to end up printing a buy signal if in fact this bar finishes up here. That's why I've anticipated the signal. Our late filter entry signal just got spoiled by the filter turning red again and the trend line turning red, so I'm going to cancel that. But there was a potential buy signal on the Falcon. And 1, 2, 3, don't have a 4 arrow consolidation yet on the hawk. The Raptor, as I mentioned, producing an early cloud crossover signal. Why is it an early cloud crossover signal? Well, because the clouds aren't fully crossed over yet, but we do have the rally, the clouds attempting to cross the pullback, so this may well develop into an early cloud crossover. So I'll see if I get the buy signal, and I may be inclined to buy into that. Peter asking, good morning, Eric. Well, good morning, Peter. Peter says, I noticed that the Hawk has more yellow bars than the Raptor. Is this because the Raptor uses a larger brick size? And yes, that is absolutely the reason why. All right, so here's our early trend change signal, and we do have a opportunity at a second push entry on that. I'm actually going to hold my stops back here a little below that zone right there. Yes, the Raptor brick size is at 8 ticks, the Hawk brick size at 6. So you will generate more bars with the smaller value, with the smaller brick size. Uh-oh, what's with that? It's the top of the hour reversal, I think. Yeah, sure enough. Well, that was unpleasant. All right, let's put this back on the shelf and then I can make my notes. Ooh, strong bearish push now. We're getting the cloud crossover to the short side. Oh, don't run away on me. Oh, I thought they were going to give me a second chance to get into that. Okay, a macro pullback now here. In the hawk, after missing that first micro-macro cross that developed rather quickly, oh dear, not getting any second chances here this morning. I was just going to point this out. And the challenge with this would be, where do I place my stops? So ideally your stop should go up here. But when you're scalping, you don't need to worry too much about your stops. So long as you're not strangling your trade, the market should, because we have a quick little profit target, should be able to find your profit target just within the normal swings that occur. Okay, the buyer's laying it on here a little bit. We're going to produce another counter trend signal here. You can see we've made a test of the extreme. And now if we come out, there's the buy signal. So here, a risky trade, but it is a counter trend. Might be able to get a couple dollars back as the market should retrace back to the hard edge. And maybe we'll just stretch this out a little bit, get up to the hard edge. Maybe I should try to run this one out. I've had so much luck doing that. Stephen makes the comment, it was a perfect short signal at 10 o'clock, but I try not to trade at 10 o'clock time, as sometimes it gets jumpy. It's important that you be aware of the sensitive times. It does seem that the market does work on 30-minute cycle, but I don't think it's defined enough that you need to let it keep you out of a trade, especially if the market conditions, like you said, are perfect. You know, that's a textbook cloud crossover signal. I've mentioned this before, but it bears repeating. You will never, ever have all the information you need to make a trade. You're always making a trade with a certain amount of uncertainty. There's always going to be a gap in your information. And it's very often those trades that make you feel the most uncomfortable that are the ones that are going to work out. And the trade that makes you feel comfortable, you look at it and you think, I know exactly where the market's going next. That's the one that's going to give you a little bit of a spanking. So long as your risk amount is contained, I say take the signal. If you can afford the risk, take the trade. If you're not comfortable with the risk amount, if this value here is too dear to you, then you need to change your risk exposure. So rather than have 2% at risk, risk 1%. Or change markets. Find a market that you can set up a trade where the risk exposure is more to your liking. And there are endless opportunities for markets. If you're looking at the futures, you know, the $5 NASDAQ, the $5 YM, the 10-year note, those are all reasonably priced, good moving markets. If you can't afford the $5 instruments on the futures, look at the ETFs. Look at the SPDR, that's the SPY. You can look at the Qs. You can look at GLD, which is gold. And with the ETFs, you're buying shares, right? So you can buy as many shares as you can afford. You could put on a trade like this for $1 if you wanted to. You can have a $1 at risk trading the NASDAQ ETF equivalent. Now, of course, if you have $1 at risk, you may only be looking to make 20 cents or maybe 50 cents on the trade, and it's hardly worth the effort. But the point is, you can tailor-make the risk exposure to something that is palatable, and I think that's very important as a trader. You have to, that risk amount has to be something that you can live with. Otherwise, you start doing silly things with your trade. And you start missing trades. Okay. Well, we're in a little bit of a downtrend. I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback before the next move lower. We've already got one hard edge bounce signal. Perhaps on this next rally up, providing I get another rally up, I'll be a little bit more aggressive with my stop. Ooh, there's the joy of counter trend trading right there. Well, the good news is I got a little positive slip on my exit, so saved $5 on that loss. Well, can't say they didn't give me a second chance to get in. I dropped the ball on that one. Here across the board, we got some nice signals here on the Hawk. Got another first micro macro cross lower. Here on the Eagle, got a nice little hard edge bounce signal, even though it technically did not get all the way to the hard edge. It's close enough to count as a hard edge bounce. And I think we can safely say the market is in a downtrend today. Wow, they're just in free fall right now. So when the market's moving like this, there's nothing wrong with just punching in an order, just taking a short position, although I usually like to get it on an uptick. The problem, of course, is covering the trade. Oh, I'm sure the Russell and the mid cap are screaming along as well. Floyd says you might want to check out the Russell and the EMD. That's the mid cap. Probably a little bit smoother progression than what the NASDAQ is doing. The bottom is coming out of the all the stock indices, the E-mini also falling hard. All right, finally we get a little bit of a recovery here. This now the Russell. And we also got that nice #1 signal on the Russell, as we did with the NASDAQ. Little less upside here with the Russell, although they did give us a proper cloud crossover signal right here. A little bit of a push up. And a little bit of a stronger push out of the open than we saw in the NASDAQ. But the market, like I say, in free fall right now, retraced all the big 1, 2, 3 zones. That's huge. That's a big move. And I'm sure the mid cap giving us a very similar look. Oh, a nice little macro pullback here in the Hawk. Got a second chance to get into that big move lower. Somewhere through here, the market will consolidate a little bit. I know it's difficult to be patient. It's just trying to time your best entry, because of course you need to cover the trade, right? Steve, we've all been there. Steve says, in free fall without me, why do I miss all these great moves? Well, I'm just waiting now for the nice U reversal that will come later today. Don't get too excited on the upside. A monster move like this, the buyers may be able to send the market into a sideways drift, but I don't think we're going to see a full-on reversal here. You know, they are starting to slow. You can see we're starting to go a little bit more sideways. So big leg down. Now we're getting a shorter leg. If you connect the swing lows, here, this will be easier to see on the eagle. Oh, there's another buy signal. I was waiting for that. This is just a very short long-term buy, obviously, because the market in a very, very strong downtrend. But what I was going to show you is if you start to connect the swing lows, you'll see that the market starting to flatten out a little bit as well. Right, and we might get a swing low like this. This is what you would call a low probability trade, even though we do have one of our high probability signals. The fact of the matter is the market is in a downtrend. You could probably sell at this point and have a better result. But like I said, I'm just looking to maybe scalp out a couple of dollars here. Make sure I didn't get slipped. No, no slip. We'll see here whether the buyers can hold the lows or if they're going to slip again. Okay, almost up to the break even. Elmer is asking, I think you mistyped a word here. Yeah, so Elmer's asking, would it not be worth going for 10 or 15 ticks profit in such a market, even with the Raptor? Are you thinking about the long side here, the counter trend move? Yes, definitely. You know, again, counter trend moves being riskier. I got a little cute with the market this morning. Had I taken profit on target, I would have fared much better. I was thinking maybe the market would get into that opening gap, but did not work out that way. But yes, your probabilities of a successful trade are directly linked to your profit objective. The closer your profit target, the more likely it will be that you hit it. Providing, of course, you don't jam your stop in ultra tight. As you can see here, we would have hit a scalping profit, no problem. Wouldn't have got the 15 ticks because that's where the break even is at, but we certainly got 10 ticks out of the trade. The only good thing that we have going for us, or that I have going for me right now, is that this risk is relatively small. So it's a low probability trade, but it's not going to cost me as much as trying to cover this position. If I just went in with this number 3 signal, you know, I got to cover the trade at least, ideally, at least up to here. And if I go 2 swings back, I'm covering back the high of the day. Well, 59.07 to, where are we at now? 58.57. That's almost a 1,000-point range, a $1,000 range. So even if I cover it halfway, that's still a $500 risk exposure. That gets a little tricky. Come on. Just a little bit of a pushback. There we go. All right, so now that the market is pushing a little harder, you could roll your stops below this swing low right here. The reason being, if the buyers lose their grip again, we're probably going to see the market take out the lows right here. But that was a non-issue. Got a good little pushback on that one. Okay, that number 2 signal actually worked out perfectly. It got all the way back to the hard edge. I'll take what I got though. Dug a little bit of a hole for myself, so First, I got to dig out from that. Floyd says the Russell and the mid-cap retraced the move. That's huge. Right now I'm looking at the E-mini and the NASDAQ, and they haven't retraced quite as high. I don't doubt for a moment that I'm going to get a little bit of a pullback here, but a full trend reversal, So we got some decent follow-up signals here as well. The eagle, of course, still in a downtrend, so we didn't have an eagle signal. But we did get a nice little first micro-macro cross / 4-arrow consolidation here in the hawk. A nice little trend change signal. Same time we were printing that number 2 signal here in the Raptor, or approximately at the same time. And good follow through on that also. All right, we got quite the tug of war going on. we got a market that is a lot more active than we've seen in a few days. So here on the Hawk now, we have produced a red bar buy signal. These tend to develop near the end of a trend. Of course, you can take them with trend. In this case, look for a test of the extreme, or you can set up to short them as well if prices reverse and head lower. You can also use these simply as an early warning, because if the red bar buy signal fails, we should develop a first micro-macro cross in the same neighborhood. Here comes another red bar buy signal. All right, so we're going to hit our break even. Did they slip me a tick on that? No? Oh, I got positive slippage. How nice. No! Darn it. They just had to look back a little bit before they head lower. Doggone it. And there they go. They would have just kissed the profit target. Here now, that first micro-macro cross I was telling you about, where the failure of the red bar buy signal would come back with a first micro-macro cross lower. And you can see it's printing in more or less the same area. This one a little bit dicier. Oh, especially since we're pulling back here now. Get into yellow bars so I don't have to deal with you. Well, that signal since has triggered. All right, so the first micro-macro cross signal here did get low enough to find its profit target. Now it looks like, I don't know, are we going to get another pushback? Is the market ready to enter that sideways trading range already? All right, so here come the buyers one more time. This may turn out to be a very, very large test of the extreme. I know we've produced a cloud crossover signal. It's not the perfect cloud crossover signal because you can see the bands got a little exaggerated here. Normally they get a little bit tighter and then there's a proper crossover, but even so, that is a cloud crossover. Your profit objective near the lows of the morning, you got to cover the trade pretty much above the high. My thinking is that given the sideways nature of the market right now, given the monster move lower, as I said, I don't think we're going to see a full-on retrace, but I could see a move back here toward the highs. We'll see if they come back with a buy signal. Nothing else looking bullish here at the moment. This is, if the buyers are going to make a push, this really is their last chance to get it together. Okay, back into the support zone. Right down here from where the last rally occurred for this little uptick. And there's the soft edge buy signal again. A little bit of a flinch off of the hard edge. That's to be anticipated. They can push on through this 58.66 zone. I'm fairly confident they'll get up to my profit target. They got to get some traction on this move. Come on, get going. So let's see if this push continues. Oh, well, 58.75 quarter is the next resistance zone. That would make a likely profit objective, you know. I could try to stretch that out. So I've just increased my profit target. Try to recover this whole zone, this support and resistance zone. We had a couple warning dots here, but no buy signal printing. Now, of course, we're getting the with trend. Hard edge bounce. And as I said before, this is the last chance for the buyers to get it together. If they can't rally the market at this point, well then prices will just continue lower. Okay, a slight recovery here from the buyers. That's encouraging. We'll see whether there's any follow-up to that. Yeah, the hawk very neutral, the falcon very neutral. The eagle, you can see the band is starting to get a little bit narrower. So we had a rather wide band. It's starting to get a little bit narrower. That's kind of also showing a little bit of a momentum shift. I don't think it's too unreasonable to think the buyers will try to rally the market one more time toward this 5870 region. After which the sellers are likely to knock them back down again. Come on, get going. Just get above that high. Get above this hard edge. Get above 5866-ish, and we should see a little bit of an uptick. There we go. By the way, we have moved high enough that we would have hit our high probability profit target. So once again, you know, the trade-off, trying to get a little bit more out of the market, or just take the profit while you have it. So we made the little slide through 5866, got knocked down again. Get one more move through, and I think we'll be okay. Obviously, there's some selling going on in this region, in the 67, 68 area. Oh, really? Am I going to have to pull back to my original stop? Come on, there we go. Get up there. Well, I would have thought that I would have seen a little bit more profit taking going on. I'm going to have to go back to my original stop at 53. We've got quite the little bit of a sideways pattern developing here. So almost a perfect pendant style formation. All right, boys and girls, we're kind of getting into that lunch hour period. I would, on this push here, I think I'm going to get a little bit more aggressive rolling my stop. Again, if it fails at this point, then there's a very good chance that the market is going to reverse on itself. In fact, I will bring my break even back to the high of this bar. So the next push up, I'll take the break even. And of course, you can always take the trade to break even manually with your break even button. There they go. Come on. Oh, they were bullish there for a second. Okay, I'm going to take the trade to break even now. Again, if it fails at this point, there's a very good chance that the market will try to resume the downtrend. And I've got, yeah, see, I had my high probability profit target again, but I'm going to try to hold out, see if I can't nurse it back to this resistance line right here. That's the plan anyway. But overall, you should be a little bit more bearish today than bullish. The upside potential will be limited, and so any buy signals you get, you should view with a lot of caution. Yeah, well, see, Daniel says, why not just take the profit? And you know what, Daniel, that's been my problem today. I would try to run the trade out a little bit, and that was the wrong thing to do. All right, boys and girls. Yeah, I would have been better off today had I just taken my profit when I had it. No doubt about that. Okay, I'm going to button up shop here for today. I will see you again tomorrow. And be careful out there. Like I said, you'll want to favor the sellers on any uptick. You're going to want to look more at selling opportunities them buying opportunities. It should help keep you on the right side of the trade. All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.